He lived alone in the forest for years, until one night the forest answered him. In the late 1990s, a man named Salem Ben Yusuf, 47 years old, lived alone in a decaying wooden cabin more than 10 kilometers from the nearest village. He was thin, pale, and withdrawn, not a criminal, not a fugitive, but a man who had quietly abandoned life after losing everything. His wife died first, then his only son. What remained was a mind that never fully healed. The forest became his final refuge. He once told a villager, "Out here, no one asks me why I'm still alive." The forest. The forest was old, unnaturally old. Its trees stood too close together, their trunks twisted and dark, as if they had grown in silence for centuries. Fog settled quickly there, swallowing sound and distance alike. Local woodcutters avoided going too deep, not out of superstition, but something closer to respect. There was one area in particular, a wide circle of darker trees where sound seemed to die. They called it the silent ground. Salem knew it well, and he never entered it. The first warning. A month before the incident, a shepherd reported hearing screams late at night coming from the direction of Salem's cabin. The next morning, Salem was found sitting outside his home, unshaven, eyes red-shot, clearly sleepless. He said only, "Don't enter the forest at night." He refused to explain. The day, everything changed. One cold autumn evening, under a heavy gray sky, Salem ran out of firewood. Winter was close, food was scarce. He had a choice, either return empty-handed or cross into the one part of the forest he had sworn to avoid. He went in. In a small notebook later found in his cabin, he wrote, "The first step was the mistake." The unnatural silence. The deeper he walked, the quieter everything became. No birds, no insects, even the sound of his boots against the ground felt muted, as if the forest itself were absorbing the noise. His ears began to ache, like descending slowly underwater. The tree. He stopped in front of a massive tree, its bark blackened, its trunk scarred with old axe marks that had never been finished, as if every man who tried to cut it stopped. Salem raised his axe and struck. The sound was wrong. It wasn't wood cracking. It was breathing, slow, deep, painfully close. His body froze. Then he heard a woman's voice, calm and low, "You're late." Without seeing her, in the notebook, Salem never claimed to see her clearly. He wrote, "I couldn't tell if she was in front of me, behind me, or inside my head." But he noticed a sudden drop in temperature, a damp, unfamiliar smell, small footprints in the mud that ended abruptly, without leading anywhere. The escape. He ran, but the forest stretched unnaturally, paths twisting into places he didn't recognize. He wrote, "I knew the way no longer knew me." He fell more than once. He felt fingers brush his shoulder. He never turned around. The return. He reached his cabin just before dawn. His body was covered in scratches, some in places impossible to reach by himself. He did not sleep. The breakdown. In the days that followed, he heard knocking on the cabin walls at night, saw shadows pass behind the windows, left food outside his door as if offering an apology. He wrote, "She doesn't want me to leave." The final warning.
Salem went to the village one last time. He looked exhausted, trembling, sweating despite the cold. He told them, if anyone enters that area, they won't come out the same. Then he returned to the forest. He was never seen again. The disappearance. Search teams found his cabin abandoned. The door stood open. His axe was buried deep in the ground at the edge of the forbidden area. On the trunk of a nearby tree, a message had been carved with shaking hands. Leave this place alone. The report. One member of the search team later wrote an unofficial note. At 3:17 a.m., we heard the sound of an axe striking wood, even though no one was there. The ending. To this day, no one cuts trees in that part of the forest, not because they believe in spirits, not because of legends, but because a man lived there, heard something, wrote about it, and vanished without a single trace.